Hello, everyone. It's been a minute. But I hope everyone is doing well. Obviously, you can see it is a different kind of setup this evening. I have been dying to get into Hunt a Killer, and this will be the first one. We'll see how this goes. It'll be more of a tabletop format. And as we go along, I can kind of maneuver my camera, but I definitely want this to be like interactive. So I know I'm gonna get stumbled along the way. So we have our handy dandy little hints kind of thing if we need that as we're going along. But ultimately, these are kind of just like episode by episode, and kind of thinking, yeah, we can do video games, which is great. We'll continue doing those here and there. But I really wanted to get into like something a little different. And this kind of seems like the thing to do. And I just want to make sure if anyone out there can just give me a thumbs up, you can hear me okay, see everything relatively all right. I'll kind of, like I said, I'll move the camera here and there so you guys can get a closer look at some of this stuff, because just kind of taking a peek, there's a lot to digest, but I will definitely be reading it out and all of that. So thank you, Jim Chicky, appreciate the confirmation. So yeah, we'll just hop right into it. So I did pull up kind of our recap to set the stage. So this is what them hands do. Ooh. But basically, let's see, I'm gonna move chat actually. It's kind of just over here on the side. We're just gonna minimize it that way. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, there we go. Minor little adjustments. But yeah, so we're gonna go through a quick little recap. I'm gonna kind of spread out what all was here. There's like a checklist that we can go through on the back of this guy. All kinds of stuff. So, yeah, so we are doing Blair Witch. So if you're familiar with the movie, it's supposed to be of that universe. And so, we'll be kind of solving this first episode, this mystery, that goes along with it. So it's 6 episodes worth. So we'll see kind of where the night takes us. This could be a very quick episode. I imagine it won't be, but anyways. So, yeah, with that, let's just hop right into a quick recap here. So I'm just going to read it off. A lot of screen manipulation, so I'm just going to read it off to you guys to set the stage. So we have a troubled teenager. His name is Liam Kent. He's vanished from the small town of Burkittsville, Maryland. After a few months of no leads, the sheriff's department has all but given up. Many Burkittsville residents believe the party responsible to be a local legend known as the Blair Witch. Okay. Liam's mother, Rosemary, is a staunch non-believer in the Blair Witch, who refuses to stop looking for her son, naturally. Rosemary has contacted you, so that'll be us. We are a private detective to help her find Liam. So this episode's objective is around finding the name of the last location Liam has seen heading towards. So the nifty thing about this, and kind of like reading here, it gives you it's kind of interactive to their own like website. Basically, like whatever we believe the answer is for the building name that Liam is like heading to, we put that in, and it essentially solves, like, we've solved the mystery. So like, yay, kind of thing. But like I said, if we run into any issues, there are hints, reveals, things like that. So I'm being very careful not to scroll down this page, because they kind of just have everything laid out on it. But yeah, feel free. I definitely encourage you guys, like, if I'm not getting something, and it's plainly obvious, getting into the details of everything, please just like write in the chat in terms of like what you think it might be. That'll help us move along and make it way more interactive and fun for everybody. So with that, I'm gonna actually put this guy. So I'm gonna capture notes on my notepad over here, but let's take a look at our list of things that we should have received. So flip it over. So as you can see, get up a little bit like that. So there's 10 items we should have received. So I'll put this back down. So we'll just kind of look at what it is. So we have this interesting bracelet, which I'm gonna actually drop this guy a little bit. There we go. So as you can see, it's like a tooth. You can see that, okay? It's like a tooth, but this is a bracelet. So interesting. I don't know why it's a tooth, but you know, we're here. Move it out of the way so I can see everything. So we have this pen. So it says Untold Tales Magazine. A little hard to read, but I'll read it out for you guys. What I noticed with this, there's like a little light to it. And I mean, it's a legit pen. I haven't tried, you know, actually using it, but that's another clue. We have Liam's notebook here. So this one has a few entries. This one I kind of like took a peek. They're not too lengthy, but we'll definitely dive into this here in a minute. And they kind of taper off if you notice. So kind of, yeah. So there's that. There's a lovely little map, which will be interesting on itself because it's literally the size of my table. But as you can see, it kind of gives you an idea of the town. So I imagine this will put notes down, things like that. It gives descriptions down here at the bottom. Again, I'll kind of read them out as we need them. What else we got? Kind of organize this a little bit. All right, so we have, this looks like Rosemary's letter to us. So kind of gives us a little more information around what happened, what she's aware of, what the sheriff's department's done, what they haven't done, things like that. So that'll be a good little read. Then we have what the sheriff's office has addressed. So it looks like it goes through, it's almost like it's the transcript. So whenever they had reported Liam missing, what the press is saying about it, how the sheriff's handling it, things like that. Then we have, oddly enough, a magazine. So Pen magazine. I imagine this is playing on the Blair Witch kind of backstory or the legend behind it. So good thing to have and dig into. What else we got? Newspaper clipping, I think. Yes, newspaper article. So this will be oh, actually kind of fell into, oh, this might be related to, I guess, his dad, maybe. Interesting. There's Silver Moon Diner on the back of this. Be funny if that was the building, right? Then we have the incident report. So kind of what was, who was involved in it, when it was reported, things of that nature. And then lastly, interviews. So who they interviewed, what was said. I'm assuming they interviewed a few people. So we have the mom, we have Father Calvin Hobart, Hobart, probably Hobart. That's probably what it is. Clementine Lidwell. I don't know. And then Anthony Rapino. Or Rapino. It's probably Rapino. Anyways, so with that, I think I'm gonna dig into the incident report and then the kind of press release. Well, actually, no. Let's start with the mom. So she sent us a lovely little letter. So we're gonna hone in on this guy. Let's see, I might be able to get this a little bit closer. I'll kind of drag it down a little bit, but yeah. And then we're gonna do make me a little smaller. Gonna drag up a couple things. There we go. So that makes that a little easier to read. All right. So, and I'll kind of move this up as we're going, but I'll read it out. So this is from Rosemary. She says, "Hello. It's been weeks since I've felt any sliver of hope, and frankly, I was starting to lose my mind a little bit before I found you. 4 months ago, my 15-year-old son, Liam, went missing. I'm not going to tell you that I've got a sixth sense or gut feeling or a mother's intuition. I don't buy into all of that. But I do believe he's out there and that he needs me. He needs us. Liam was always a sensitive kid, but he was devastated when his father passed away 4 years ago." Okay, so that likely plays into the news clipping we have. He was devastated, yeah. So he's been in a vulnerable place ever since. The sheriff told me that this sounds like a typical teenage runaway, but that can't be the case. I know Liam, and he cares too much about me and his younger brother, Tristan. Okay, so he has a younger sibling, to put us through this. He loves our dog, Tank. He loves our home. It took the Burkittsville Sheriff's Office less than a month to write Liam off as a lost cause, and it took the rest of the town even less time to blame his disappearance on our ridiculous local superstition. Interesting. Let me explain what I mean by that. This area is small and isolated, and the only thing that's ever made us worthy of any note is a long history of deaths and disappearances that stretches back to the 18th century town of Blair Witch. Okay. So much genuine evil in the world, and people choose to believe in boogeymen. Since the people around here have decided that they're interested in fables over facts, I have to rely on you to get the truth. I'm sending you a few documents from the official investigation into Liam's disappearance, whatever help they may be, as well as a few things that may help you understand both Liam and this town a little bit better. I'm also sending you everything I found laid out on Liam's desk the day he went missing. A magazine spread, his journal, and a pen. That was placed inside of it. Okay. Additionally, I'll be passing on something that has made me fear the worst, despite myself. It's a bracelet that was given to Liam by his father. He never takes it off. Interesting. Why a tooth, though? Yeah. Anyways. We've got a vague idea of Liam's movements on the day he went missing, but his trail goes cold in the early afternoon. Even though a few people saw him wandering around town, none of them knew exactly where he was going. And then I'll kind of push this guy a little bit further up. There we go. I need you to find out where my son was going on the day of his disappearance. Finding that place is our best shot at discovering evidence that nobody else has looked over yet. As soon as you've figured it out, contact me at kentcase.com. It's a personal site I set up to keep tabs on Liam's case. And there's the password. Cool. Oh, that's a good point. Maybe his dad was a dentist. I guess we will likely just hop over to the news clipping to get an idea of that. You'll see a link for my tip line. Just type the name of the place Liam was headed there. I'll be sure to respond as soon as possible. Eagerly anticipating your findings, Rosemary Kent. All right, cool. So I'm going to capture a couple notes here, but basically what I'm gathering for now is we know Liam's 15. He had a younger brother named Tristan. And they had a dog named Tank. Tank. His dad was in a terrible accident. Or passed away. He just passed away. Or devastated when his... Yeah, okay. Dad passing. We'll find out what happened because it sounds like it's an accident. And then I think that's kind of it at the moment. Is that website the same one on the card where we... Yes, it is. Good question. Yep, it is. And honestly, I may like pull, if it's of use, I may switch views and we may take a look at it because, yeah, that on the card, it says the same thing. So I'm going to, okay. So anything else you guys kind of noticed through this? I think those were a couple of initial things I noticed, but I think with that, I'm gonna kind of move on to the next piece here. Let's see. All right, so I'm, for the sake of being able to see this, do that. You guys can kind of see it a little better. All right, there we go. All right, so this one I'll read off. You guys can follow along, of course. But Burkesville loses a friend. Okay, so I mean that means this person definitely had influence in the community, it seems. Hudson William Kent, a carpenter and family man favorably known as HUD, died after an accidental tree fall Thursday. Oh, interesting. Kent was cutting timber in the Black Hills forest with his 11-year-old son, Liam, when a tree began to fall at an unexpected angle, according to Rosemary Kent, his wife. Ooh, did Liam see his father die? Oh my god, that would be crazy to see as a, 11-year-old kid. No wonder he would have, like, issues now. Kent fell into the path of the collapsing tree as he pushed his son out of harm's way, according to Sheriff Lanning, who took Liam Kent's statement on the scene. This incident was as tragic as it was gruesome. Lanning said, let me make sure you guys can see it. There we go. Lanning said in a statement, "We are heartbroken. The news of HUD's sudden and untimely passing has shaken us to our very foundation. Our love goes out to his wife and their young kids, Liam and Tristan." Following in his footsteps, Kent became a logger and carpenter soon after graduating South Woodland Academy at the age of 18. Kent's craftsmanship can be admired in nearly every home and municipal structure in town. So he definitely has, like this family seems to have a lot of roots in this town. Kent was known among those close to him as a skilled craftsman with a razor-sharp wit and an abiding love for his family. He loved making see. There we go. He loved making me little pendants and bracelets. Okay. All right. And writing me notes just to remind me how much he cared, Rosemary Kent said in an interview. He'd been doing that ever since I asked him out in junior year of high school. Aw, they were high school sweethearts. A funeral service is scheduled for 1 p.m. Sunday at St. Dimas Church on Main Street. Father Calvin Hobart, which is one of the people that were interviewed, mind you, will officiate. Flowers, donations, and condolences may be offered to the Kent family at the Silver Moon Diner during a reception to be held immediately after the service. No viewing has been scheduled. Man, I'm telling it's the second time I've heard this diner business. So it's a good candidate. Yeah. So he was known for making little pendants, bracelets. That totally makes sense why his son had this one, but it still doesn't make sense why a tooth. So eager to understand more of that whenever we probably get into Liam's notebook is what I would imagine. Yeah, so let me see. Is there anything else to capture here? I mean, he saved his son, so the fact that that was something he had to witness has to be terrifying and tragic to go through for sure. When was... Okay, we don't have a date, but they did say it was 4 years ago, so passing. So I'm gonna write that down real quick. Whoops, there we go. Passing. Let's see, 4 years ago by tree fall. Can we see the diner page? Yes, of course. There you go. Let me get this up a little bit, maybe. There we go. Yeah. So it says, be sure to ask about our damn fine coffee. Then you got the name of the diner. Serving every delight morning and night. If you're looking to eat well without eating up your budget, come over to the Silver Moon. Picture of a hamburger, french fries. Looks like good food in all honesty. Yeah. All right. And if you guys are wanting to see anything else, again, like, just let me know. Just kind of holler in chat. All right. So that takes care of the news clipping. Kind of shuffle things around here. Let's see. I think, okay, nothing really jumps out there. Yeah, nothing too crazy. I think I kind of want to establish a timeline, so I kind of want to read this guy real quick. Lots of reading. All right. Okay, so incident report, South Woodland Academy. Oh, okay, so this happened at school, it looks like. Okay. Okay, so counselor set up this incident. Okay. So earlier today, Liam entered into a physical altercation with another student in his grade in the hallway outside of my office. This incident occurred during the interval between second and third period at approximately 11:10 a.m. Okay. While I did not witness the beginning of this altercation, I did witness the aftermath of a punch Liam threw, which knocked his classmate to the ground. After I broke up the fight and asked a teacher to escort the other student to the nurse's office, I took Liam into my own office to discuss what had just occurred. To quote Liam, I don't know why I hit him. He was just standing there looking at his phone, and he started laughing at something. Before I even knew what I was doing, my arm just moved on its own. I pushed him, then he pushed me back, so I hit him, and he fell. He looked like such an idiot with his blood coming out of his nose. Then you came in and stopped me from whatever was going whatever I was going to do next, and now we're here. That's such a weird, like, incident to have happen, right? So, thank you, Anne Ray. Hopefully I'm pronouncing this correctly. Thank you for following. I hope you're enjoying all this. Let's see. So, I guess, yeah, okay. So there's more to this. So was this leading up to like him disappearing? Was this the day of? I wish we were getting dates on this, and I'm not seeing dates. We're seeing a little bit of time, which is nice, but not too many dates yet. So let's continue reading here. Okay. So, additional comments. Per Liam's behavioral records, he has been actively alienating himself from children his age, whom he used to consider friends since his father died. Naturally, I'd say, like, you kind of shut down. He has not made much of an effort to foster new friendships. Liam prefers to spend his free time alone, staring off in the direction of the tree line or drawing. Okay, I know I saw drawings in his notebook, so that could be telling. Liam, while quite a talented artist, has been fixated on his father's death and his personal drawings. Bam, look at that. The few pieces of his art I have observed have contained various versions of the same scenario. An unidentified person, who I can only assume to be Hudson, underneath a large tree. When Liam is present at school, he displays a markedly maladjusted attitude. On the occasions he does turn in his work, it is sloppy and half completed, often devolving into doodles and drawings. Well, he seems very distracted, right? On the rare occasions I have been able to get Liam to open up, he has confessed a bit more about his personal coping strategies. Namely, that being around Hudson's work makes him feel closer to his father. Interesting. He tells me he often spends his time outside of school in a building originally built in the 1920s. Which his father renovated shortly before his death, although he will not disclose the specific location of this place. Okay, that sounds like a clue, right? However, I feel as though this closeness has done little to improve Liam's mental state. All of his problematic behaviors has significantly increased in frequency and severity in recent weeks. Liam's actions have become increasingly worrisome, both inside and outside of social contexts. While this is the first time that Liam has acted violently towards another student, his lack of apparent guilt makes me worry that it will not be the last. And then there's a little bit more down here. So, plan of action. There we go. I will be increasing the frequency of my and Liam's one-on-one meetings from bi-monthly to weekly. I will also be in more frequent communication with Liam's mother regarding her son's progress. Additionally, I've provided Liam with a journal. Makes sense why there's entries in there. And asked him to write out his feelings in a concrete way rather than revisiting the moment of his father's death. I suggest that he try to frame these entries as letters to Hudson himself, although Liam reacted to the statement with extreme negativity, naturally. I mean, he's also a teenager. I will be filing copies of this and all future reports with the principal's office in order to best monitor the situation. Okay, so there's a handful of entries, so I'm assuming this kind of goes on for a little bit. But what I want to circle back to is the fact that his dad seemed to have had a project going on, and it may not have been completed, right? He had a project going on when the accident occurred. And so if we look back up here, yeah, you guys can see it. This pen's kind of in the way. There we go. We'll look here. So he tells me he often spends his time outside of school in a building originally built in the 1920s. Okay. Which is his which his father renovated shortly before his death. Oh, okay. Maybe he did complete it, but it seems like that must have been like the last project he had. Although he did not disclose the specific location of this place. Okay, building in the 20s. Building. So I think that'll be useful when we look at the map, right? Built. Because it looks like the buildings had dates to them. Built in the 20s. And I swear to God, my luck, there's going to be multiple buildings that were built in the 20s. Just throwing that out there. Anyways. Anything else you guys kind of noticed? It seems like the drawings are going to be telling, because I'm almost wondering if he's doodling to kind of not really reenact the how things happen, but I don't know, to try and like figure out how he could have not like been near the tree, or you know, the things like that, to help kind of process feeling like I feel like if I was in that shoes, like you wouldn't want to, you're dwelling on it because like, oh, I shouldn't have been standing there, or like my dad was already yelling at me to get out of the way and I didn't. So maybe some guilt there, I think, but a decent way of saying it. Yeah. So, okay. I feel like there is guilt with the accident and Liam might blame himself. Yeah, exactly. Which, I mean, that's natural to feel that way, right? But, you know, it was an accident. You couldn't have expected a literal tree to fall on someone, but, you know, it happens. So, all right. I think we'll go through the press release and then we'll dive into Liam's book. I'm gonna grab a quick drink real quick. Okay. All right. Let's make sure you guys can see this. Okay. There we go. Okay. At 2:30 p.m. on Tuesday. All right, we're getting at least some days in this, right? Sheriff Wes Lanning addressed the township regarding the case of a missing local teenager. Here's the full transcript. So, good afternoon, everyone. As you all know, a 15-year-old boy named Liam Kent was reported missing by his mother 3 days ago. Oh, we got something else. I also feel that the accident triggered something in him that is connecting to the Blair Witch. Yeah, it's totally fair. And that's what, understanding more from like the magazine, maybe he felt like there was a connection there, or something that merited him going off like he did out of nowhere, basically. Okay, so it says here that 3 days prior was when Liam disappeared. At this time, we are unable to confirm his last known whereabouts, but we have no reason to assume a crime has been committed. Fair. Okay, so press. This is Aubrey Bird with Burkittsville Town Bugle. Sheriff Lanning, what do you say to the rumors that... okay, it looks like they start going off on a couple of things. Let's do that, maybe. Okay. Search parties to... I will take questions at the end. Okay, sorry, I skipped that part. He's taking questions at the end. Search parties to locate Liam Kent have been mobilized, and we have already recovered one of the boy's personal effects, which was found by a civilian on the north side walk of Main Street. Okay, I'm probably going to have to get a pen now, because now they're labeling spots, which is fine. But I'm going to note that down real quick. So we're taking that as a very positive sign. If you have any more information that would be of interest to our investigation, please come forward. I must urge you, however, not to use this opportunity to contribute to the spread of dangerous rumors and hearsay. Now he will start taking questions. Okay. I'm going to jot down that a personal belonging was found on the northern sidewalk of Main Street. So they didn't disclose what it was, but at this point I'm kind of assuming it's the bracelet. Found personal. Sidewalk on Main Street. Of Main Street. All right. There we go. Okay. Some people are wondering if the case is being considered in relation to many of the previous disappearances that have historically been attributed. Now he gets cut off. You're correct in pointing out that Burkittsville, as a community, has endured its fair share of incidents like this. And so I say this with full knowledge of what many of you must be thinking, even if you have the good sense not to say it out loud. It is of the utmost importance that we keep ourselves calm, collected, and above all else, logical. Okay, so he doesn't really believe in the Oogie Boogie Man either. I will not entertain any suggestions involving outdated superstitions, especially not when the case in front of us appears to be perfectly cut and dry already. Do not contact my office to provide details that might distract from the matter at hand. If we are able to keep our heads level, I'm confident that we will be able to locate Liam Kent and return him home. Thank you. Okay. The former sheriff, if I may, the former Sheriff Lanning, that is to say your uncle, apologizes. I'm not quite sure how to phrase this. The former Sheriff Lanning led several high-profile searches in the 90s. How similar do you think that the search for Liam will be to that investigation, considering that? Oh, he was like immediately like, no. No. Wow. Okay. So his uncle led similar type of disappearances, it seems, or missing persons type of cases 20-something years ago, I guess. Because I'm assuming this is like current date. Or close to current date. Give or take a couple years. Okay. But they didn't... I guess they can't really disclose that, right? They can't disclose what type of personal item. They just say, like, a personal item. Okay. Well, actually... Let me check one thing real quick, because I don't think she mentioned it, right? No, she did mention the bracelet. So what was his personal item? Because she says, and I'm referring to his mother. A magazine, his journal, and a pen. Additionally, no, I guess it could have been the bracelet, because she just states these were the items that were on his desk, which were the magazine, the journal, and the pen. But then the bracelet was separate. So, okay, never mind. Thought that was slightly different, but here we are. Okay, so there's that. Sorry, I'm kind of reorganizing over here. For good measure, I think it's time to kind of open the map. But we'll take a closer look at it here in a minute, or after we get through a couple of these other things. Kind of get this out flat. All right. Okay. So, these are the last three things that we have. So we have his book, the magazine, and then the interviews. I think I want to dig into his... I kind of want to dig into his journal. I think that would be a good spot. All right, so Liam Kent. First thing we notice here, what he taught me in case I forget. It's almost like a tic-tac-toe board, but A is labeled up here. So, I mean, is this something to leverage on the map, maybe? In reference to, I don't know what yet, but interesting that that's called out here. But we'll kind of take a look at his entries, and his handwriting's a little difficult to read, but it's fine. We shall make do. All right. Yesterday, Miss Tan gave me this book and said I should use it to write to Dad. And then she sat there with a stupid calm look on her face while I screamed at her about how dumb of an idea that was. I wish I hadn't done that. It wasn't right, and it wouldn't have made him proud. Okay, well, at least he's acknowledging things. Few doodles here and there, so it's like arrows, if you will, and then you can see this like dead, sad face almost. All right, Dad, you were always so, and then kind of scribbles. So it's like he starts an initial thought and then kind of just starts over. Bam. I think I got it. Yeah, there we go. I'm really lonely without you, and I know how hard Mom is trying, and I know she misses you too. Last night, Tristan couldn't remember that thing you used to say to us all the time, and he started crying. I pulled him out of it, though. Helped him remember by making it a puzzle, just like how you would have. I think Tristan was too young to hold on to all the code stuff you taught us. Codes. Joy. But I remember, would be good for passing notes in class if I had anyone to pass notes to. Unfortunate. Okay, so like here, like you can see this doodle. Yeah. So clearly his dad was a smart guy and had these kind of code language with his eldest son. So, next entry. Dad, you used to tell the coolest stories about the woods. Mom used to make fun of you for believing in all of that stuff. I don't know if you actually believed it, though. I think you just know how fun it was. Time passes more easily out here. Not slow and boring and lonely like at home or in school. So I take it he wrote this while he was in the woods, maybe? Luckily these are pretty short entries, but Dad, Mom just sent me to my room. How old does she think I am? She doesn't treat Tristan like this, and he's not even 10 yet. She said I upset Tristan, and then we all started fighting again. I don't know why I get like this. It's like everything annoys me. I don't know. I mean, you are a teenager too. Everything at that age is slightly annoying. Okay, so far there hasn't been too much, but it's interesting that he happened to underline Tristan in that entry, because I mean you see him use it here underlined, but whenever he says it again it's not underlined. So kind of interesting. All right, next one. Dad, the new kid didn't know anything about Burkittsville, so I took him by the forest and told him all about what happened. I showed him where the tree was and everything. For a second, I felt like I was going to throw up or cry or something, but then I saw how freaked out he was, and it all suddenly seemed hilarious. Then I started laughing, and he ran away. So lame. And he told on me. Okay. Interesting. That's underlined again. Exactly what I needed. Apparently, he told Miss Tan that he saw somebody watching us too. I said I didn't see anything. Okay. And then this last one with the picture. So I'm assuming there's Tank. I don't know if this is meant to be Hudson or well, I guess it kind of alludes to it in here. So I'm assuming this is Liam. Dad, guess I shouldn't be surprised that nobody else is willing to walk in the forest with me. At least Tank keeps me company. And you, in a way. Okay. Is there anything else? Kind of see trees. It's interesting that this tree is like dead. More trees in the background. Not sure what this is. I guess it could be a tree, but like there's something odd like right here. And then more trees. So, okay. I think there's just these 2 pages left. All right, Dad. Got to find out more about the forest. Mom can't know. She'll just do that deep, guilt-inducing sigh thing and send me to my room like she always does. There's a bunch of stuff in town that I can look into, but I think I know exactly where to start. Okay. So he's digging more into, I guess, this whole like Blair Witch type of thing, if you will. Take note that underlines. Yeah, see, I was definitely thinking the same thing Tristan told on me. And so far I don't see anything else that's underlined. Yeah, let me capture that real quick. Pen. Tristan told on me. Bam. Don't mind my terrible handwriting. Okay. All right. There we are. Okay, Dad, everyone leaves me alone down here. I can do whatever I want, even if I don't want to do anything at all. Not a bad place to spend the weekend, especially if I stop 2 doors down to grab something to eat first. Could that be the diner? Or if I can get Hank to make me a sandwich. Who's Hank? Okay, so he's 2 doors down from a spot that he can get food from. I want to capture that little note. So where he's going to make all these kind of journal entries, I'm assuming is the building his dad finished. So check buildings that are 2 buildings either direction. It's a good little nugget. Especially if like whoever Hank is, that's going to be another telling piece to all this. Okay, 2 more entries. I think I can get both of them in here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, Dad, nobody else knows I come here. It's always just business as usual upstairs. So is he in the basement? Interesting. Not that they're ever busy. I take my time walking here though, or through the woods and walking back. Okay, so it's a path that he has to go through the woods in order to get to this spot. Okay, so there's noise upstairs. I would imagine we're looking for some kind of basement or sorts. Or at least like a 2-story building, maybe? 2-story building or one with a basement. 2 basement. And yes, I'm left-handed, so this is a little more difficult because I have it set up probably opposite of what I should have it set up. But we're here. It's fine. Noted for next one. Okay, final entry. Dad, I've finally figured out how to talk to him. He's an interesting person, if he's even a person at all. He knows things about you that he shouldn't have any way of knowing. Who's he? Interesting. And then I think he just starts with dad. And that's it. So, he refers to talking to someone. If he's even a person at all. Interesting. Make note of that real quick. Alright, I'm just gonna take one little scan. I'm gonna pop that bad boy up a little bit so we can see if anything else. I kind of look through this. Doesn't look like anything else is kind of in here. And then, just for good measure, I don't think. I was right! I don't know if you guys can see that. That's gonna be very hard. There we go. You guys see that? I had a feeling this light was gonna be used for something, and here we are. There's scripture or some kind of like code up here. This one I don't know how I'm gonna be able to show you guys, but there's definitely writing up here, and it's in a different, it's in like code or something. But I know you guys can see, like, look at that. So that is definitely like Blair Witch style right there. I recognize those. All right, is there anything else? So on that note, I'm gonna go back over here and see what kind of, yep. Can you guys see that? No, not really. Okay, let's see if we can barely see the writing, but can see the symbols. Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, I'm gonna see if I can zoom in on this and see if you guys can see it a little better. I think you can kind of see. Honestly, I may just write over this, and that's probably the easiest thing to do. So give me like a minute to capture this, actually. I need a pen on that note, so I'll be, well, actually, no. I have a tablet. Let's be smart about this. Okay, so we're gonna start with the tic-tac-toe boards. I saw that there were 2, so what I'm gonna do is shift. We have our tic-tac-toe. There's 2 of them. Okay, so A, you guys saw that on here already. What it ends up being, the alphabet from the looks of it. So it goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Hopefully you guys are having fun with this, because this is pretty awesome. Okay. L, M, N, O, P, Q, R. And the other thing to know is he's got these little dots and they're in certain spots. Hopefully, I may have to like zoom in on that a little bit. There you go. Actually. And then M N O P. Let's draw these a little bit better. Q and R. So let me double check. Okay. And then, but wait, there's more. Then we have these. Which is S, T, U, V. W, X, Y, Z. Okay. So I'll back it up a little bit so you can see it a little better. Okay. So that's what is on this page, like the cover, the back of the cover. I'm gonna quickly scan again just to make sure like there's nothing else. So A, B, C, D. Okay. There's one other thing. We're just gonna do that. So what he has here is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Underneath it, he has the alphabet going backwards. So you start from Z and go back. Z, X, W, V, U, T, and so on. So keeping that in mind. Man, interesting. What's funny is the more I have the light on this thing, like the more I can actually start to see it on the book itself. All right. So then, are these entries like just a bunch of bullshit? This light's gonna give out on me. Okay. There it is. This is gonna take a little bit of effort to decipher. All right. What is gonna be the easiest way to do this? I'm gonna have to write these out. Okay, so these are gonna be boxed, if you will. And then so G, H, I, J, K. Now I have to go backwards. Just a thought, can you use the light on the back cover page? The one with the ruler. So there's nothing there, but what I'm looking at is basically there's, you're not going to be able to see very well. You can kind of see that writing. So that is the first entry that is using this code, and it's very faint. So, I'm just gonna grab a pen real quick. An actual pen. I realize I have a pen in my hand, but an actual pen. So I will be right back. Put this on BRB. Okay, we're back. All right. What I'm gonna do now. Deal with that in a minute. I can hold this properly. All right, so this is R G H L F M W H X. This is probably a terrible idea. Sorry. Bear with me 1 second. Hopefully this doesn't actually. Glad I did this in pencil. Yeah, I can see that. Just gonna continue using my tablet. That's the easiest thing. Come on. R G H L F M W H X I Z A B comma W C W I F G R. I think that's I. S L K Y B L F apostrophe I V H G R O O. Then the last section L F G G S V I V H L N V D S V I V period. Okay. All right. So we have based on just the letters we already have up here. So let's go through and change Z's to A. Actually, can I change the color? Oh, I can. So A. A. Okay. Any Y's anywhere? Yes. So B. Another B. Okay. X. W's. So dad. Got our first word, dad. There's a D right there. So V. V was E. Okay. E. There's a couple of E's actually. So E right there. E right there. E. E. Then another E. Any U's? Let's see. Any U's? T's. T. 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 Nope. Okay. All right. So let's switch back. H. I. J. K. L. M. So that would be T. Have to like remember the alphabet backwards. S. R. P. O. N. Oh, this is entertaining. Okay. Ah, I skipped Q. So Q. Nope. Fudge that up. R. Q. P. O. N. N. M. N. O. P. Q. S. Oops. No! No! Come on. Do what I want you to do. There we go. T. U. V. W. X. Y. Z. Right. So A. B. There we go. I should have done these in different colors. Oh well, we're here. And bam. All right, so now we have our little decipher. Okay, so let's just go through, and that is I. Nope. I. So it. T. 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 Okay. So H. S. L. O. So F should be U, yep. But, oops. F. Out. So oh, I forgot an S, so it sounds. So nothing. Okay. So it sounds I. Where's the I? A. Sounds crazy, Dad, but I. S. Okay. Did I mess that up? I may have messed that up. S's? Yes, I messed that up. S. No. H. L. O. K. P. I think Y is what I messed up. Oh. I hope. Yeah, okay. B. Your. R. Wait. I think that's gonna be L's, right? Yeah. Still. Out. I think that's there. I for yes. There. S. L. Is this gonna be somewhere? Maybe double check the journal for that word. It might be hope. Yeah, I'm wondering if I read it wrong. I probably read it wrong. Okay. Silky. Yeah, I think that should be a V. V? Yeah. Should be a V. We're Gucci. We're good. Alright, so the full message says, "It sounds crazy, Dad, but I hope you're still out there somewhere." Okay. Yeah, you guys can't see it. There you go. Okay. Let's see what other entries there are for this. Right, so far there's nothing on the second page. Here we go. There's a little bit on the third page, not very long. Oh, I saw something else, guys. See if you can see this okay. See that figure? It's kind of difficult to see, but you see him? You can see him pretty well. Yeah, so that's like a figure of sorts. If there's anything else in here. Doesn't look like it. Yeah. So Oogie Boogie looks like is hiding in the trees there. But there's a little bit to decipher on here, but it should go a little bit quicker. So I will just try and write it. I not. So you guys can see what I'm writing. I'm guessing this is gonna be not. Yeah, not. See you. A? No, that might be a Q. Q? Yeah, that's a Q. Not just N and V. It's not just me. Ooh. I guess that's referring to the little oogie boogie in the background of that picture. Interesting. All right. Moving on. This is so cool. Oh god, there's a lot on this one. Sorry, guys. All right. Okay. Well, we're just gonna start from the top, shall we? That kind of makes sense why he has spaces here. So, like, if you guys notice, he's got these gaps, and like, there's the code is here. So it's almost like this is just fluff, if you will, and then his actual entry for his dad is this middle section. So, okay, all right, let's move on here. Okay, so what is he telling his dad? Actually, it seems like my fur child is wanting outside. Actually, Cleo, come here. Come here. You want to come say hi? Come here. Okay. Come on. You're not sure? Come here. Come here. Oh, goodness. Oh, my goodness. Say hi to everyone. Hi. Hi. Yes. You go outside. Oh, I'm getting kisses. Okay, gang. I will be right back. I'll be right back. Just 1 second. All right, we are back. Okay. Whew. All right, I think we're making good progress. It's just, there's a lot of writing. I thought there was going to be a lot of talking. But I guess it's not a bad thing. There's a lot of talking either. Da, 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 da. Okay. All right. So what are you actually telling your father right now? Can I do something like that? Perfect. All right. That way you guys can more or less see it. SV. S? Oh, he. No. Yes. He. Oh, I think we're talking about his, like, weird, odd friend. He. You. You. He used to H S T E stay. He used to stay. Are you? F A. He used to stay far, I'm guessing. Away. A. Oh, geez. I think that's an R and an M. So. R, yeah, I guess. In. GSV. G. In the. I think this is gonna be forest. Oh, maybe not. With an A? Or I think that's a G. T. Tree. T. R. E. E. Oh. Get rid of that. T. R. E. L. R. Tree. Line? Tree line? Tree line. Alright. He used to stay far away in the tree line. Interesting. I'm starting to think the tree falling in an awkward way wasn't an accident, right? So, like, who was it then? Okay. So that's our first sentence. And then I think that's yeah, that's a sentence. Okay. Next sentence. Why? B. But. L. A. T. E. Oh. Wait. Lee. He. I'm guessing that's gonna be Ben. He's been T. I think it was the Ookie Boogie Man. Same here. He's been T G E getting. Oh. Getting. Oh, my thumb is like hurting from this. A. L. M. A-L-M-O-S-T? Yeah, almost. I think that's close. Close enough. L. Is it a U or a V? L-I. L. I think that's a U. Okay. Enough for. We're in the last sentence. Or the last part of the sentence. For me to A P make G make out his face? Is that where we're going with this? Or yeah. His. Oh, it's gotta be creepy. Yeah, that's face. Alright. That's what we got. He used to stay far away in the tree line, but lately he's been getting almost close enough for me to make out his face. That is creepy. Oof. Alright. Oh, I need another drink. Okay, so. Whoops. It's gonna be very unfortunate if this light gives out. I'm getting closer to the point where I can just like read this off, but. Alright, next. I. You know what? I think I'm gonna have to cut this. Yeah, that's fine. And then this little guy can go up here so we can actually reference quickly. Yeah. Alright. No, I did that one. O-L-L. Look. Let's get to the right thing. Okay. Loops. Yeah. I looped They are looped around easy E A H T H D I'm guessing this is through. T B. That's a no. So F. I think that's a V. For forest. Looped around each through the forest. Kind of sounds weird. I think this word is potentially incorrect, but I'll make my way back to that one. And S. Snuck. I'm guessing into I N G O no. Okay. Yeah, snuck into his into H. Wait. Jumping ahead. Let's get rid of that. The B A to the basement. T H R. Whoops, that's not a Y. That's a U. Sorry. I know I'm definitely being quiet, but we're making progress here. Okay, snuck into the basement through. So snuck. Lost where I was. A B A back 3 back D window maybe. H. So, all right, we're to the end of the sentence. G H A. So that it F would and T? What's the T? What's the T? Wouldn't get. Guessing that's get. Y. B A. P is K. Yes, back. To N L N N O M. Okay. That one was a little lengthier. I looped around each through the forest and snuck into the basement through a back window so that I wouldn't get back to Mom. So I guess he snuck back in through the basement of their house so it wouldn't get back to Mom. Or he's saying like to protect Mom so the boogeyman wouldn't get to his mom. He snuck in from the back door or back basement. A couple ways to kind of decipher that, I suppose. All right, we got 2 more entries. Sorry, 3 more entries. I will go as quickly as possible. Oh, wait. Ooh-wee. Never mind, there's quite a few. All right. Move this one. Down so we can still make sense of it. Excuse me. No wonder these things will take like a few hours. I was reading this and I was like, we're making decent progress. I mean, we are, but there's a lot going on. Okay, so that says dad. Easy enough. You. F-O. Found? Oh, no. That does not make sense. I kind of want to take a break from this and hop back into it, but hop over to the map and maybe we can kind of decipher where everybody is. So I know this is a quiet kind of process, so I'm gonna give this kind of a moment. But we know like he knew someone was kind of watching him, right? So all right. And honestly, I may like decipher these on the side. I don't know yet. But it's good to know things like this will come up, right? So we're going to take a moment from that because honestly my head is kind of spinning making sense of all that. So can we look at this guy? We haven't looked at this. Let's get a little more backstory on the whole like Witches Woods, Blair Witch mumbo jumbo kind of thing. Because like I feel like as we're going through these entries, it's gonna get real creepy real fast. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Legends never die in the Witches Woods. Interesting. So it's by Untold Tales magazine special feature. Also, the individuals on our lovely little pen. Okay. So let's zoom in here a little bit. Start with this paragraph. Okay. Dossier, I'm gonna assume that's right, of mysterious deaths and disappearances in the Black Hills Forest. This is by Ed Barrett. It was in the winter of 1785, back when the sleepy Maryland town of Burkittsville was still known as Blair. Okay, so there was a name change. When a group of local children first told their story. They claimed an old woman who lived in the forest's edge had beckoned them to follow her back to her cottage. I'm getting like Hansel and Gretel vibes. Upon luring the children to her home, the woman pricked their fingers with a needle, collecting their blood in bowls made of stone. In the minds of the townsfolk, of Blair, there was no clear sign of witchcraft. Okay. Some stories claim that the townfolks merely ran the old woman out of Blair to live out the rest of her lonely days in the nearby Black Hills Forest. Other stories claim that the citizens of Blair went much further than mere banishment. Aw. Kind of rough, but... Okay. A couple of quotes here, it looks like. I'll get both of these. Actually, this person is interviewed, so note that. The way my father told me the story, the people of Blair pummeled her with rocks. Once their thirst for revenge was sated, some of the men dragged her out into the forest and left her there, tied to a tree. Oof. All right. That's from a teacher from the academy. Interesting. So that's where Liam is going to school. And then the local historian, is the one that was in the interviews that we haven't gotten to yet. Primary sources are few and far between, but same secondary literature indicates that the accused may have been hanged from one of the oldest trees in the Black Hills Forest, an old dead tree whose bark was white like ash. And actually, am I seeing something on this? I am. So it says over here, like you guys can't really see it all that well, but this one I can actually read out loud. So it says, crazy stuff, wide and never tell me about any of this. So clearly he knows the historian. Make sure there's nothing. Okay. Interesting. Good to know. Actually, I'm gonna make sure my mic doesn't fall off on me. Oh wait, am I going the wrong way? I'm going the wrong way. Oops. There we go. Okay. Let me check one thing. Okay. I'm wondering if the tree that fell was the tree she was hung from. Yeah, well, if you look back on his drawings, there's a dead tree. There's a dead tree right here. So it seems like the tree still exists, or parts of it. I'm not sure. But that could be a a clue to, like, that's the one she was hung from, to your point. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so moving on here. Let me get this bumped up a little bit. There we go. Okay, nearly a year after the execution, during a winter far more bitter and cold than the one previous, the residents of Blair woke up to find half the town's children had vanished in the night. Among their number were all those whose parents' accusations had led to the supposed death of the witch. I read that differently, but did she die? Can a legend ever truly die? While the story of the Blair Witch stretches back over 200 years, her legacy continued far past the moment of her supposed death and persists to this very day. Interesting. The next high-profile site... There we go. The next high-profile sighting of the Blair Witch would occur in 1825 when witnesses claimed to have seen the pale hand of an old woman reach out of the water of the local creek to drag a helpless girl under the surface. The girl was presumed to have drowned, but her body was never recovered. That is creepy! Yet another child was reported missing in 1886. This victim was miraculously recovered from the Black Hills Forest by the second search party sent after her. However, the men who made up the child's first search party were not as fortunate. They were found tied together and stabbed to death on a large rock at the creek's edge. The identity of their killer was never discovered. And then there's something under here. So what it says here... Oh, crap. He actually wrote it in a different language, or in his code language. Have to research more about this. Stabbed to death. Interesting. I'll have to come back to this other note that's here. I'll capture it to decipher. Oops. In magazine. This guy really liked using code everything, but I guess, like, it's the most efficient way to do that. Okay, on to, I think, the last section. Nope, just kidding. There's a little bit more on the back. How am I doing on battery, I wonder? I'm assuming it's okay. All right. Anyways. All right. This next section. Okay. Actually, we're gonna... Another quote from our lovely historian who is a suspect in all of this. Unfortunately, a lot of information about the search party has been lost to time. Many of them were workers at a nearby sawmill, which had many names over its long and troubled tenure in the region, but which has long since burned down, taking hundreds of invaluable records with it. Okay, okay. Was anything built in place of it, I wonder? This just right-ish. Yeah, there we go. Okay. The witch seemed to lie dormant for over 60 years after the incident at the rock. However, tragedy would eventually strike the area once more when an eccentric hermit who made his home in the Black Hills Forest confessed to the kidnapping of 8 children and the murder of 7, claiming that the voice of an old woman had urged him to commit these crimes. Was this man a cold-blooded killer, or could he have truly been compelled to kill by the Blair Witch herself? Is this Mr. Oogie Boogie? Then in October of 94, so this would be the sheriff's uncle leading this kind of case, 3 student filmmakers disappeared in the woods near Burkittsville while shooting a documentary. While their footage was recovered, the students themselves remain missing to this day. Yeah, you can kind of see most of it. Merely 2 years after the student's disappearance, a young boy is believed to have been abducted and taken into the Black Hills Forest. His search party would not emerge unscathed or without grim and mysterious stories of their own to tell. While many locals still insist on the existence of the witch, some believe that a dangerous drifter is responsible for the most recent of these cases. It's fair. Very fair. Can I fold this? It's easier to read. There we go. All right, third quote from our historian. That particular case hits close to home for me than most of the gruesome incidents that haunt, this town's history since I was in high school when it happened. An interesting fact, hikers often found strange carvings on many of the forest's older trees for months after the case was closed. However, sightings of those carvings eventually died down. Isn't that strange? Shouldn't carvings on tree trunks have been more permanent than that? Okay, interesting. And then there's a little bit more on the back. Elliot Colson is longtime resident. I saw symbols clear as day on the trunk of a big white tree, smack dab in the middle of the forest. Looked like wide open eyes and screaming mouths all jumbled up together. When I tried to show the tree to my wife, I couldn't find my way back to it, even though I hadn't gone more than 10 feet away. I stopped going into the forest altogether pretty soon after that. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched by the carver. Okay, so I know Liam mentions he got the sense of someone watching him. So that's pretty common. There's this little itty bitty. Ooh, there's more here. Okay. While uncertainty clouds the region's present and mysterious haunts its past, one thing is and always has been certain: the Black Hills Forest is a region afflicted by the trauma of those who have vanished there, and perhaps by the creatures who took them as well. And then there's a little bit here that I can more or less make out without having to get the light. It says where to find out more. I guess Man, he used his code in this. Like, there's literally one word, because he goes on to say, I guess the blank, still my best bet. Really? Really, Liam? Come on. All right, this one I have to just go ahead and figure out real quick. All right. B. A. I think it's going to be basement. Whatever he believes is base. B-A-S-E. Yeah, it's basement. So whatever the hell he's referring to, basement, whatever building it exists in, that's what he's referring to. So the full thing is where to find out more. I guess the basement's still my best bet. So, all right, well, that's what this lovely little magazine is referring to. So we have interviews to go through, and it looks like someone mentions Hank. So that's a good thing to note. But I kind of want to get oriented with the town real quick, and then we'll dive over to the interviews, I think. All right. Let's see here. Let's see if I can get this in a relatively good shot. So at least you guys can see most of the town. I can just read off what each thing is needed. Okay. A little more, maybe. There. Okay. Okay, so this is Main Street. We have, so that's going north. Let's see, we have barbershop. So I'm just gonna mark these down. I know you guys won't be able to see it very well, but barbershop. 2 is a cafe, so Andy's Cafe. 3 is a convenience store. I'm just gonna put store. The cemetery is over here. Pretty self-explanatory. Community college, number 5. So this is all the community college, it looks like. Mm, 6 is the museum. So this guy. I can't spell, apparently. Post office across the street. Post office. The personal belonging was found. Yes, you are absolutely correct. It's not on the northern part, so somewhere over here then, I would think, because to me, if it's north and it has an arrow, that's north, right? Like that would be north. So then it, which is interesting because the Silver Moon Diner is right here. Okay, so 7, 8, sheriff's office. Pharmacy, don't really care about at the moment, but I know like half of these we probably honestly don't care about right now. But again, it is just episode 1, so that could easily change. Gas station, like corner of town, basically. So what I do notice here is, actually, it's probably worth noting right now. So the dad finished the project on a building that was built in the 20s, right? So how many buildings of this, like of the town, are in the 20s? So if we look at it, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots that have been around since the 20s. I don't think they mention like time period or anything like that. And they're all pretty scattered. It's early, middle, or late. So kind of mixed, but I don't know, maybe it's worth like starring the ones that were the 20s, now that I think about it. So we have the museum, the post office, the pharmacy. So both of these buildings were, I may just get a Sharpie at some point, or a marker of sorts, make it a little more clear. And then the home away from home inn, which is this guy. And then McQueen Auto Shop. So 13. Siciliano's Bakery. That was uptown. And that's it. So a lot of activities kind of lining up in this general, like, this area, if you will, because like Silver Moon's literally right there. That's been kind of like hinted at off and on. That's where the service was. That's where his mom kind of referenced. No, he referenced in his journal entries. I honestly don't think the auto place is gonna be a huge thing, but needless to say, it's fine. See, might be worth just going through the descriptions. Okay, so barbershop, even though it's changed names in recent years, the establishment is still run by its original founders, the Barker family. Come in anytime for a trim or a shave. They are the very last word in barbering. Building 13 might have the basement. He's been mentioning these 2 doors away from where he can get food. Yeah. That would be the auto shop, actually. Which, looking, let's see, what does the description say? Run for more than 50 years by the incorrigible Rickard Thunder McQueen. So, by the way, it's called McQueen Auto Shops. Interesting. If you ever have the need to stop by, be sure to ask about his collection of century-old photographs of historical Burkittsville. So, yeah, if we... Yeah, so 2 down, which why would he go to the sheriff's office? So that's a good point. Yeah, because then the across the street would be your pharmacy and your post office, which that's, across the street. Why would that matter? But just for knowing, is there anything worth mentioning for these other guys? What started as one of the town's only restaurants remains one of its most enduring and eccentric establishments. That's the Andy's Cafe. Convenience store. Even though Mike and Bob are retired, they still live right around the corner from the shop. Daring anyone to change its name. Say hi if you see them around. That's funny. Some of these descriptions are actually pretty funny. Cemetery, the oldest location in Burkittsville, even predating the church. Interesting. What began as an impromptu burial site for victims of various maladies and violences that befell townfolk slowly became the official Burkittsville cemetery. Community college, 98% graduation rate. Crazy. A renowned arts program and one of the area's best collections of 19th century regional maps and folklore. Burkittsville Community College is the place to go for mental enrichment. Go Jackalopes. Okay. The museum, which is a little further down. An organization dedicated to chronicling and preserving the town's deep, complicated history. Call to schedule a walking tour of the town today. The post office. So, rain or shine, hell or high water, the folks at the post office will always ensure that everything ends up exactly where it belongs. Interesting. Sheriff's office, originally the site of a prison and still home to numerous legal documents from throughout the centuries. Sheriff's office has long been a beacon of law and order for the town. All right. Snake oils and cure-alls? Interesting. Okay, so the pharmacy, which across the street, always stocked with everything you might need for medicine, from medicine to snacks to home goods. Be sure to ask about the mini museum of historical snake oils and cure-alls dating back to the 17th century. What's 2 doors from the cafe? Another place to get food. Andy's is technically 3. So if we're assuming that it's kind of like here or like from the cafe, then 1, 2. Andy's is like on the other side. So this is Andy's right here, number 2. So the auto place is in the 20s. So it was built in the 20s. And then the Silver Moon Diner was built in the 30s, but yeah. Though times have changed, the Silver Moon's aesthetic hasn't. A glistening time capsule of a place that still retains its vintage glow. Alright, what is... So this guy right here is the library. Museum. Museum is here. That's the museum. So... Oh, this has been refurbished. Yeah, I think we're looking at like this general area of where things happened. Oh, was it built in the 20s? Another possible place. Yeah, the museum was built in the 20s. So the museum and the auto shop. And it's interesting that there's a tree right here. Are both built in the 20s. Yeah. So, and then you have 2 food spots. And then you have a library on one side and the grocery store on the other. So, yeah. Kind of like reading through some of these descriptions to see if there's anything else that makes any sort of sense. But yeah, I think for this episode we're looking at these 2 guys, or this section up here. Let me see if there's... Oh, okay. What's that? Oh, that's a bar. Okay. Pharmacy. Post office. Grocery store is a place to get food. 2 doors down still is the auto shop. One way. Yeah. I almost want to put like auto shop and see if like that's the answer. McQueen. Let's see where Hank works. Cause I know he's referenced in the interviews. Cause yeah, just to like refresh your memory, can you use the light on the map? Actually, that's a good point. Okay. I'm doing a little scan here. I can't remember how we ended up with a map. I think Rosemary gave us the map. So if we don't find anything, it wouldn't be totally surprising. So far, I'm not seeing anything. Yeah, if I feel like if I could have seen something, it would have been on that tree or around that tree. So yeah, it doesn't look like anything is coming up. Just for good measure, right? It'd be really creepy is if they actually put like something in the windows on this thing. Yeah, totally worth a shot. Thank you. Yeah. Nothing so far. Actually, is there anything on this damn tooth while I'm at it? That'd be impressive if they did that. But I still don't understand, like, so far I still don't understand why he has a tooth. So I'm wondering if that's just gonna be like a prop or something we have to reference later on. Which they did say don't get rid of anything because you might end up using it later on. So, okay. Sorry guys. Let's dive into some of these interviews real quick. But yeah, open Rosemary's tip line and type the name of the building Liam was heading toward right before he disappeared. So I feel like at this point, like, we're narrowing it down to the point where he was either going to one of the cafes for food or he was going to what we're kind of like thinking right now is the auto shop. I lean towards the auto shop, but kind of want to dive a little bit more into these interviews real quick. I probably won't read everything, but at least give you guys more of an idea of what's going on. So, okay, this interview is with Rosemary, and it took place on Sunday. So if Tuesday they had the press release, then this is 24 hours roughly after Liam had disappeared. So we're at the 24-hour like missing persons time frame, it seems. Okay, so I would assume they're taking her statement at this point. I can't believe this is happening. I'm sorry. I know that I said I was ready, but how could anyone ever be ready to do something like this? We can try this again later if you'd like. No, it's fine. Let's just get this over with. I went to work before Liam and Tristan woke up. Shelly called me real early, said she was sick, and asked if I could cover her morning shift. That's Shelly Frost. Everyone at the Silver Moon is really good at that. I get the feeling they all call me before anyone else, ever since HUD. But I remember I woke up, left a note, and went to work. So in other words, their mom works at the Silver Moon. So I guess that would potentially make sense why he would go there for food as opposed to maybe Andy's Cafe. Or maybe he did prefer going to Andy's Cafe because his mom wasn't there. So many notes. All right, or I guess I'll just put Rosemary so we can keep names. Rosemary works at the diner. Okay. All right. Just telling the boys that I went to work when I'd be back to heat up the leftovers heat up some leftovers. I always put it on a sticky note right in the middle of the television. That way I know they'll see it. Skipping right along. Yeah, you guys can see. Okay. I saw Liam in the afternoon. I don't remember exactly when. It was during the lunch rush, which is usually between 12:30 and 2. I asked him where Tristan was, and he said at home. Hank, our line cook, told me I was being paranoid that Tristan was getting... Yeah. Bam. Old enough to be on his own. Hank's kind of old-fashioned, a rub some dirt in it kind of guy. Either way, he made 2 sandwiches, peanut butter and jelly for Tristan, and tuna for Liam. Okay, so we established Liam went to Silver Moon the day of to get lunch. Okay, so then it's 2 doors either way. We're assuming based on like all the other clues that we've gotten so far, it's the auto shop. I think we're pretty close to having an answer, surprisingly enough. Okay, but we'll read on for right now. Okay, so Liam took them home for Tristan for lunch, or I guess I thought he did. When I got home a little after 9, he wasn't there. All Tristan had eaten all day was a bowl of cereal and an orange. I looked everywhere, couldn't find him. Looked everywhere in the house, all over town, and then I had to call you. I couldn't think of anything else. Do you happen to remember what Liam was wearing when you saw him at the Silver Moon? Let me think. He was wearing a black shirt, for sure. Most of his clothes are black, and a large denim jacket and a beanie. I remember that he was carrying his backpack, which was a little strange. Fair. Because it wasn't a school day. I still can't really believe that any of this is happening. I feel numb all over. Okay, so we established like the timing of where he was prior, like the last time she saw him, right? All right, so now we're interviewing his little brother. Same day on Sunday. So, all right. Take your time. Okay, so I'm gonna skip the first one because it's just establishing like, hey, take your time telling us what happened. Okay, yesterday Liam got up later than he normally does. I'm usually up before him, and Mom tells me I always have to be quiet because Liam's sleeping. So I usually take Tank, that's our dog, out to play. But yesterday Mom had to go to work early. She left us a note like she always does when she leaves. So I did something, but scooting that guy up a little bit. I did something, but I know I'm gonna get in trouble for it. What did you do? Well, since nobody was there, I watched Super Neutral marathon on TV. Huh, my bad. I, of course, always thought it was Supernatural. Haha. Anyways, I like how he's like, oh my god, really? Like, that's not an issue. My mom says it's a scary show because it's about ghosts and monsters. I'm not supposed to watch it, but I think the guys that host it are funny. I watched it really quiet so I wouldn't wake him up. After an episode was over, I asked Liam if he wanted to do something, and he was like, no way, skunk. Appropriate response for an older brother to say to his younger brother. That's what he calls me sometimes, is skunk. He thinks I don't like it, which is why he does it, but I do like it. Okay, so what happened next? Said he was gonna go do some stuff. He likes to be alone a lot, but I knew he was going to bring back lunch, which is what he usually does when he goes on long walks like that. So I watched some more Super Neutral and waited for him to come back, but he didn't come home. I had an orange for lunch. Where do you think he went? Oh, he just doesn't understand what's going on, man. All right, now we're interviewing Father Calvin Hobart. Hobart. Oh, this one's like really short. Okay. Yes, I do remember seeing Liam that day. I was out back behind the church tending to the cemetery. Okay, so the cemetery is on the west side of the main street. So it's all the way on the end. I was out back behind the church tending to the cemetery, which I typically do every Saturday around 3:30. Sometimes some of the kids from the high school hang out back there. They always leave cigarette butts, and beer bottles, which obviously I'm not happy about, but I'd rather them be hooligans in the cemetery than go out and drive somewhere and potentially hurt themselves or others. Okay, yeah. So I saw Liam while I was cleaning up all that trash. He left some of his own, the crust of a peanut butter sandwich. Very wasteful. Regardless, Liam was out past the graveyard, standing just on the edge of the woods and looking in. I don't know how long he was out there before I saw him, but he stood like that for a moment before seeming to lose interest and then moved along and walked away down Main Street. So I'm assuming he's going back up Main Street since we're already like at the edge of town. I don't know. Okay. But the whole time he was looking over his shoulder, not at me, mind you, but at the forest. Creepy. So creepy. Okay, so we're establishing he's already picked up lunch, he ate lunch, and now he's walking back from wherever he came from. So at some point he left the diner, assuming he went to the woods or like the edge of the woods where this guy saw him, and now he's walking back up Main Street, more or less. Okay, so now it's a little bit later in the afternoon, so it's still Sunday, but it's later in the day. So now we're interviewing Harriet Gillard. I have no idea who this is. Okay, so it looks like she's gonna give us more backstory on like what happened at the Silver Moon. Okay. Yes, I first saw Liam. I'm skipping a little bit. Yes, I first saw Liam when I came into the Silver Moon. The Silver Moon is allowing you back in. I'm not going to have to come back down there for another complaint, am I? Interesting. Little town gossip, it seems, on what had happened to this person. That thing with the mustard was just a misunderstanding. Anyway, I saw Liam. Trying to make sure it's not too crazy for you guys. He came inside, looked perturbed. Fun word. Hank made him a couple of sandwiches after he talked to his mom, and then the kid left. Did Liam say anything to you when you saw him? He said, "Hello, Miss Gillard," and goodbye. There was a little bit of a conversation in between. Okay, what did you guys talk about? Nothing really, and not for very long. I asked him how his day was going, and he said not well, but that hopefully it would be better after he finished his research. I asked him what kind of teacher assigned him homework over a beautiful weekend like this, and he just said goodbye and walked away. He seemed a little high-strung. He kept fiddling with his bracelet so much I worried he'd tear it clean off his wrist. Okay. Scoot this bad boy up a little bit. All right, Harriet, is that all? She says, no, actually, I saw him again a few hours later, just for a second. I was buying some stamps around 4, so she was at the post office across the street, and I saw him walking on the other side of the street. He looked a bit grim, if you ask me, hunched over. I must have assumed he was walking home, but I suppose that wasn't the case after all, was it? Then, when I finished up and walked across the street to my car, I noticed something on the ground, so that's where his bracelet was. It was the same bracelet I'd seen Liam wearing earlier. It must have fallen off when I saw him walking. Did you take the bracelet? She said, I took it. I meant to give it back to his mother the next time I saw her. It's right here. So that's how the bracelet comes back into Rosemary's possession. All right, now we're moving on to a witness from the library. So now I feel like I'm going to pull open the map again because there's a lot of references that are being made. So, whoa, sorry guys, give me a second. Zoom out a little bit. That's good. Okay, yeah. All right, so actually, let's do a little more. More better. Okay, so the father was over here tending to the cemetery. Well, actually, back up. Liam came into the Silver Moon, picked up lunch. His mom assumed it was for him and his brother. Obviously not. So that was like around 2:30 kind of timing. And then the father, Hobart, saw him at the edge of the forest over here. So like cemetery looking out. And then he walks back. So he's walking back down Main Street. Then you have Harriet's interview. So she's across the street at the post office. And she is already seeing him walk across this, like walk this way, it seems. That's where she ends up finding the bracelet. Is pretty much like in this area then. So that's kind of where we're at with her interview at the moment. So now we're going on to Clementine, who I guess works at the library. So that's the building next to the auto shop. So it's between Silver Moon and the auto shop. You have the library in between it. Okay, so Miss Lindwell, just tell me everything you remember about seeing Liam on that Saturday. So now we're into Monday. So it's been, this is day 2, I guess. She goes on to say, we were actually quite crowded that day, but I still remember seeing him because I made him finish his tuna sandwich before he came inside. Fish in a library, can you imagine? And of course, because of the altercation he got into, Liam came into the library like he often does, very quiet, never needs help, even in finding the most obscure reference material. It was, and I realize this thing is like not hot. Is too high up. Sorry, guys. There we go. It was right after story hour ended, so it must have been around 4 o'clock. Liam read for a little while on his own, and then another boy came in. I'm not quite sure of his name. One of the kids who only ever comes in to find the books for their summer reading, you know, but always a month too late. No, I don't have any more copies of the Scarlet Letter. Every other kid in town already has that copy out or on hold. That's funny. Okay, so get this stuff out of the way. There we go. So skipping down a little bit further. Okay, so evidently there was an altercation with Liam and this boy. So explaining what happens. I couldn't hear their words exactly, but I think that Liam instigated it. The other boy looked like he was asking Liam something benign. Liam snapped back at him, which caused the other boy to raise his voice. I think he called Liam a freak or something like that. Within seconds, their fight escalated to shouting, and Liam threw his book at the other boy. It was a compilation of topographical surveys of the area, which is quite bulky. Did you know that every major survey of this area has yielded vastly different results from one another? No two people can quite agree on an accurate map, although there are certainly those that experts consider to be closer to reality than others. It's quite a fascinating little mystery. Interesting. Okay. So one thing I do want to double check here is, so if this is around 4 o'clock, is... When did Gillard see him? Was this before or after? I was buying stamps and saw him walking on the other side of the street. Okay, so it was around 4, so this could have either been before or after. I'm guessing the previous interview had to have been after, like, all this altercation, because she did mention he looked a little grim, right? Okay, so, very interesting, Mrs. Lidwell, but not relevant to this investigation. Of course, right after that, I reprimanded them. We did what we usually do when children misbehave in the library, had them leave for the rest of the day. Cool their jets, and come back tomorrow. The other boy refused at first, probably out of stubbornness, how kids are. Liam, though, left peacefully. He was so angry seconds earlier, but he was suddenly so calm. I don't know where he went, but I think I remember him turning left and walking down the street that way. All right, you've been very helpful. Okay. I know that it's a little uncouth. But I simply have to ask. Everyone in my book club will be furious with me if I don't. I'm trying to make sure that this is... There we go. If I don't... Have you been looking in the forest with everything that's happened in the past? Do you think that something unnatural may have happened to the boy? We are mounting search parties in the immediate area and is typical for an investigation of this sort. I don't entertain the second part. With all due respect, almost everyone who lives around here has had something happen to them in the forest that there's no earthly explanation for. Once, when I was walking around the very edge of the forest, I could swear that I saw a tall figure watching me. Again, creepy. I got so scared that I tripped and fell down a hill, nearly broke my neck and killed me. Wow. Wowza. Right, I think we're on the last one, which is the historian. Guys, I think we're pretty close to... Maybe... No, I guess he could still technically be going to... the auto shop. Yeah, that could be still a thing, I think. Yeah. Huh. Let me check one thing here. Okay. Alrighty. Alright, so now we are interviewing the historian. Alright. You're a family friend. Yes, I've known Liam and Tristan their whole lives and their parents as well. I grew up with Rosemary and Hud. I was the best man at their wedding. Did you happen to see Liam at all that day? There you go. Yes, very briefly. He passed by the front door right before I ate lunch, meaning that it would be a bit before 1. He waved to me, but didn't stop to talk. I assumed he was heading over to Silver Moon. Okay, so this establishes before he went and picked up lunch. And you didn't see him anywhere else around town. I'm scheduled at the History Museum through pretty much the entire weekend, since those are peak attendance days. Although, of course, peak is relative. He didn't enter the building on the day in question. He did not. How can you be certain? It's the Burkittsville History Museum. It's not exactly the most popping place. Most of the time I'm in there alone all day, surrounded by yellowing books and clothing that belong to someone's long dead relatives. Fair. There we go. It's not exactly. Okay, I sometimes feel like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. I feel like there's a presence somewhere lurking right around the corner or underneath the floorboards. Sometimes I hear things like murmuring that I can't really make out. And did you hear any of these things on the day of Liam's disappearance? Well, no. The first 72 hours are critical in a situation like this. I'm not about to spend any of them checking the History Museum's creaky floorboards for you. Thank you for your time. Dang. All right. So we establish that around 4 o'clock, that was the last time anyone that was interviewed, at least, saw Liam. And he was leaving the library. Okay, so let's take out our handy dandy map again. I'm just gonna leave it here because, like, point and reference is right there. Okay, so he had walked by the museum heading to Silver Moon for lunch. Walked to the cemetery, came back, went to the library where he had to finish his tuna sandwich, and then was kicked out. Let me just make sure what 12 is the grocery store. I really think he's here, or he ended up there. Should we try it? I know I'm gonna have to decipher the rest of that crap because it's gonna come back and bite me in the ass in a later episode. So I think I'm gonna do that off stream and then save time in terms of, like, let's review it in the next stream. But honestly, I kind of want to try it. I mean, worst case, it's like, nope, this isn't the right answer. Then it's like, that's what I'm thinking. I feel like he is in the auto shop. All right. Well, we're going to try this, gang. We're going to try this. Let's see if I can. Where'd my card go? There's my card. All right, let me shift the things around real quick. Give me just 1 second. I'm gonna switch screens real quick. We're gonna go here and not that. Oh, I see what I did. Okay. Monitor. Bam. Okay. All right. So we are going to Kent case. I don't need my phone anymore, so we're gonna get rid of that. Hello. Welcome to the chat. We may have just solved the first episode of this hunt a killer thing that we're trying, lack of better words. My brain's been going this whole time. Okay, so kentcase.com. Oh, thank you for the follow. Welcome. All right, password is Burkett. Oop. I gotta make sure I spell this right because I cannot see what I'm typing. And enter? Yeah. Ooh, there's all sorts of stuff over here. Look at that. Oh, that's a nice picture. I don't know why I'm leaning over. 1 second. Okay. Oh, it's kind of nice that... Is this like... Just gathered to use and send them away. Huh. We may have to come back and look at this later on, because this is kind of interesting to go back through. Good fences? There's a lot of good stuff. This is definitely gonna have to be a thing we look at. It's pretty cool that they have this like whole website thing built out. That's pretty cool. Okay. Please provide your email address before sending. New. Tip line and type in the name. Air 404. Open Rosemary's tip line and type in the name of the building Liam was heading towards right before disappearing. Okay. I'm just going to type it verbatim, which was, we believe the answer. And I may have to like pull up my phone outside of this to make sure we were right. But it was McQueen Auto Shop. All right. McQueen Auto Shop. Is this really, is that it? About to find out. Are you sure about that? That building doesn't seem very likely to me. That's a fair amount of foot traffic there, so I don't think that Liam would be able to hide out there without anyone noticing. You should keep... No, it wasn't the answer. You should keep looking. Let me know as soon as you come up with any other ideas. I'll send you an audio message if I think you're onto something. Damn. So it wasn't the auto shop. I typed it in right? McQueen Auto Shop. Man. Jim Chicky. I thought we had it. Alright, well. I guess I'm gonna have to... It was the Autobots. It was the Autobots, right? Yes, of course. I almost want to try the museum just for good measure. Cause like they're both right there. They're both right there. I feel depressed. See you later. Aw, don't feel depressed. I hope you have a good night. I hope you have a better night. Yeah, what do you guys think, man? I want to get it like for sure right this time, you know? I think before going through and like typing in another answer just for a whim, the museum is the only other place that's 2 places down. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, because then like if it's the museum, then technically like Andy's Cafe is 2 down. I really want to be sure though. Alright, well, I just folded that and I want like the name of the museum. It's a fail on my part. Number 6. Burkittsville History Museum. Take a shot. Ooh, that was almost bad. Content. Burkittsville. Burkittsville History Museum. feel like this is gonna be the wrong answer again. We got a voice memo! Ah! That's what she said, right? Oh, wait. Nope. Nope. Yeah. Let me know as soon. I'll send you an audio message if I think you're onto something. Hell yeah. Okay. All right. Not all for nothing. I keep switching back and forth. Sorry, guys. Let's see. I think I'm gonna have to put my headphones on for this, so we can listen to this. But that means we can move on to the next episode. So yay. We were able to finish this in relatively quick time, and we didn't have to decipher all this crap in here yet. But let me grab my headphones. Maybe? There we go. Let's see. Music. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. All right, we're gonna play this, and we'll see if it works okay.
Liam was hanging out in the basement.
Oh, that's like really low. Pause.
Of the History Museum. Liam was hanging out in the basement of the History Museum. I mean, why? What could have been down there? I'm heading over to take a look right now. It's right down the street from the diner. Could Sheriff Lanning really have missed something so close to his office? Hey, Anthony? Anthony?
Hopefully you guys can hear this. And it's not like blasting your ears off or anything.
That's weird. The building's unlocked, but he's not here. Maybe he's in the basement. The door's right behind his desk. I'm just going to check. It's not locked or anything. Anthony? Are you there? If you're down there, I'm coming down now. Jesus, why is it so cold down here? Okay, there is no way the sheriff searched this. There's way too much stuff crammed in here. I'm gonna be here all night. But I guess the cold air will keep me sharp. Wait. There's a window open back there. That must be where the draft is coming from.
I agree. This is really creepy. But I like the immersive experience to all of this.
Who would leave this open? Wait. This is Liam's handwriting. Liam's been here. Oh my God. This is his pencil case, and there are all kinds of notes. Hold on. What are these? I'm not sure how to describe what I'm seeing to you, but Liam's notes are covered in all kinds of strange markings. And this one is Oh my god. This handwriting is... This is Hud's. Hud wrote one of these notes. Years ago, it looks like. Before the accident. You need to see this. I'm going to try to find some more evidence, and then I'll send everything over to you. Thank you. Thank you so much. You've just gotten me closer to my son than I have been in months.
I have chills. I have literal chills right now. Yes, chapter 2. So we are moving on to episode 2. Yay! So exciting. But yes, very creepy. Very, very, very creepy.